FBI, now an ABC News consultant on law enforcement matters. They won't fully relax, Steve, until they go through that building.
Exactly. And, we don't want to get ahead of ourselves. We don't want to say that this may be over, but, that relaxed atmosphere or, when they start taking their helmets off, that usually indicates that they have secured the location to some extent. Now, does that mean that they've secured, to where if there is a suspect or suspects in the building, they've either neutralized them, taken them into custody, or maybe they have them in a corner somewhere and they know exactly where that is, so they can kind of now start attending to the victims and the investigation. Those are some of the things that we still have to find out about. There's been no press conference thus far. You almost hope that law enforcement is waiting to ensure that they have all of the facts as to what has gone on thus far before they come out and make some type of statement. So we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, sure will. Steve Gomez, formerly of the FBI and now an ABC News consultant, as we continue to monitor developments out of San Bruno, California. It's where police said they were responding to an active shooter at the headquarters of YouTube. In the last little while, though, it appears the posture of the authorities has relaxed just a bit, and it's not clear whether a suspect or suspects is in custody or what. But we have seen a couple of perhaps telltale signs of what's gone on. One, there is an outdoor patio area with tables and umbrellas where there are a number of overturned chairs, and we don't know whether that's where this may have happened or whether people were getting up in a hurry and perhaps running. We have seen groups of apparent employees with their hands in the air being led away from the buildings and then being searched by police as they leave the campus. The YouTube campus in San Bruno is shut down, as are a number of the surrounding streets, and that is...
This is an ABC News special report. Now reporting, George Stephanopoulos.
Good afternoon. We're coming on the air right now because police are responding to an active shooter situation at the YouTube headquarters in San Bruno, California. That's about 12 miles south of San Francisco. Large campus there for YouTube, about 1,700 employees. It unfolded about an hour ago. Police have responded. At least 2 local hospitals now reporting that they are treating some injured from the shooter. No reports yet on whether the shooter has been neutralized, although local television reporting that the shooter is a female shooter. I want to go to our senior justice correspondent, Pierre Thomas. Pierre, we also know that federal officials are monitoring the situation.
That's right, George. The FBI is monitoring the situation. The ATF has put out a notice that they are en route going to try to provide support to local police. And George, obviously, this is a situation that we see unfolding over and over again in the country. Weeks after that terrible shooting at Parkland, Florida, at the high school, and after we had a similar incident in a Maryland school active shooter situation. So this continues to be something that law enforcement is deeply concerned about, George.
There you see those YouTube employees being let out. That has also become a familiar sight. Our chief business correspondent, Rebecca Jarvis, covers YouTube, and I know you've been in touch with several employees.
Yes, George, and I've heard from employees inside the building who say that they heard multiple gunshots and that many employees ran to safety. Coworkers at YouTube ran to safety. They barricaded themselves up in various rooms inside that building and then awaited police evacuations. Many of those employees now have been evacuated and say they are safe, but they are very shaken up, George, by this incident.
As you can imagine, they would be. We've also seen some reports that they were told not to use their phones. As I said, at least 2 local hospitals, San Francisco General and Stanford Healthcare, reported they are treating some patients from the shooting. We don't know how severe that is. And as I said, we also have some reports from local stations that the shooter was a woman, conflicting reports on whether that shooter is neutralized, whether this was a suicide attack. As we see the police, they are on the scene from the local sheriff's department. I want to bring in our FBI analyst, Brad Garrett, former FBI special agent. Brad, one unusual aspect of this, if it is indeed true, a female shooter.
Yes, you and I have not talked about female shooters for years. So that's unique, George. Also, you always have to look at the trail in these cases, the trail being other people connected to her at the shooting, helping her get to the shooting site, etc. Any explosives, any issues with her car. So law enforcement, presuming it's only her, sort of have to do this cleanup to make sure it's safe.
Okay, Brad Garrett, thanks very much. As we said, about an hour ago, an active shooting situation began to unfold at YouTube headquarters in San Bruno, California. Police responding right now, local hospitals reporting some injured. We do not know yet what the condition of the shooter is, what the condition of the patients but we have reports from some local television that the shooter may be a woman. We'll have a full wrap-up tonight on World News Tonight with David Muir. We'll stay on it all day long at abcnews.com. I'm George Stephanopoulos in New York.
Has been a special report from ABC News.
And I'm Lindsay Davis. We are continuing our network coverage at this time of that active shooter at YouTube's headquarters in San Bruno, California, where we've been looking at, there you see the campus, the headquarters there, where we have 1,700 employees that work inside YouTube. We've been watching the video, and you can see the aerial here from the helicopter overhead. We've been watching employees departing and police patting them down and processing them, making sure that they are not what they're believing to be is the one active shooter. Perhaps we're hearing that it was a white female, but you can see those images right there of people being patted down, making sure that they don't have a weapon as they depart. So we've been seeing those images, as well as police starting to enter into the headquarters, into the main building there. We're going to also go to Brad Garrett, former special agent, FBI special agent, as soon as we have him available. Brad, I believe that you are available. Kind of walk us through what is happening right now as far as law enforcement and the tactics that are being used.
Well, Lindsay, the real key is she a lone shooter? It looks like she is, but we don't really know that. We don't know motivation. We don't know number of weapons. But you always have to follow the trail of the shooter. How did she get there? Is there a car available? Are there explosives? In other words, are there things beyond just the shooter? And that's what law enforcement is trying to assess now. Hopefully they know the answer to that. But once they get the scene cleared, and I think some of it must be cleared because I see people walking away from YouTube headquarters. So that's foremost in law enforcement's mind as we speak.
Do you allow everyone to leave the vicinity? Because while we're hearing that it's a woman, that she was armed, it seems like someone could have gotten rid of their weapon, right? Maybe it wasn't just a woman. Maybe it wasn't a woman at all. And so it seems like they're kind of frisking these people and letting them leave. But is that the end of it?
Well, think about it this way, Lindsay. If the shooting occurred at one particular location, some reporting is it's an outside area where people eat lunch, but wherever it might be, this is a big campus. And so there's going to be other aspects of this campus. If the police feel that there is no connection and there's no safety issues, you are better off getting people away from these locations because trying to be safe as possible, of course, with people. So my guess is that's probably what's going on as far as people being moved.
And we understand also the local freeway right there. I think we see that 280 has been shut down. Now, what's the process? Is that just to limit traffic to the area at this point?
Well, it's two things. It's to limit traffic and to make sure if a shooter got away from the scene. I don't think that's the case, but it's another safety issue. But yes, you want to keep the congestion away from a potential scene for the obvious.
Clearly, this is not contained, or I imagine you could be the best judge of this. Once it is contained, do police let you know right away, hey, we have the shooter, we've confirmed it's just this one person? Or right now, could it be that they do have this person in custody and they still are just actively making sure that this was a lone shooter?
Right, until they actually know what they have. Lone shooter, have all the weapons, no explosives, in other words, no trail beyond just the shooter, then they'll probably make an announcement. My guess is you're not going to hear that from law enforcement for a little while.
And I believe that we have Rebecca Jarvis as well on the phone. Rebecca, thanks so much for joining us. And you've been talking to some YouTube employees, is that right?
Yes, that's right, Lindsay. A number of employees inside the building say they heard gunshots, they ran to safety. Many of them barricaded themselves into offices and then waited. They say it was a terrifying experience waiting through post-gunshots, waiting for law enforcement. And they said that they could hear law enforcement going through the building, office by office, evacuating individuals. The people I've spoken to have been evacuated from the building, but they say that all of this started during the lunch hour as people were outside enjoying what is a beautiful day in San Bruno. And so many of these people would never have expected such a thing to happen at their company, and they're very shaken up by the whole thing, Lindsay.
And of course, the people that you talked to, you said, have all been evacuated safely. Did they describe that they believe that other employees are still inside?
They didn't say whether or not they believe there are other employees inside. They've made it to safety. Their understanding is that their coworkers and their cohort have made it to safety. But many of them have said they would never have imagined something like this happening, and especially on a day like today.
Did they describe at all for you the gunshots, if there were multiple rapid gunshots, or any extent of how much gunfire there was?
They described a handful of gunshots that happened in rapid succession, and then they were waiting, barricaded in that office, and they said that it was quiet, essentially, that they weren't hearing gunshots, but they could hear law enforcement minutes later going through the building.
And Rebecca, have you been to YouTube's campus before?
I haven't been at this campus. I've been at Google's headquarters, so they're a ways off in Mountain View from this campus in San Bruno. But it is the place where a number of YouTube workers spend their days helping to create the content and build out the platform that millions of Americans, billions of people around the world consume every day.
And Rebecca, any idea, it seems like it was just obviously within the recent weeks since Parkland happened, it seems like YouTube had announced perhaps that they were going to stop using advertisements with guns. Are you aware of any announcement? Can you kind of tell us about that?
So this announcement came a couple of weeks ago in response to Parkland, and they made the decision that they were no longer going to be using advertisements with guns. And this was partially because of the community at YouTube and at Google and what employees wanted. This is also because of outside viewers and stakeholders and especially the young people from Parkland who were saying, this is wrong. We don't want to see this any longer. And in response to that, YouTube has made this decision. No sign at this moment in time whether there's any link there, but that's part of their history, and this happened only a handful of weeks ago now.
Rebecca Jarvis, thank you so much for reporting in for us on the phone. And Brad, just want to bring you in for one last question. So what can we expect? We believe that this happened around 12:52 Pacific time. In the next hours that unfold, what should we expect?
You should expect law enforcement, I suspect, in the next 90 minutes to maybe 2 hours to come out and give you the basics of what they have. They're probably not going to give you the name of a shooter, but they're going to give you the following: that it's, if it is a lone shooter, that they have X number of victims, that the shooter is either dead, wounded, or in custody, and that the YouTube headquarters is basically safe at this point. So I expect to hear that in a reasonable amount of time, but I'm going to guess it's going to take another hour or two before that actually occurs.
Okay, Brad Garrett joining us live from our DC Bureau. Thank you so much for that. Of course, you can expect to get the latest developments on this active shooter at YouTube's headquarters in San Bruno, California, online, abcnews.com, of course, on our news app, and later tonight on World News Tonight with David Muir. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Lindsay Davis.
Technically, somebody from the public could access.
Let me ask you, you said that your phone has been blowing up with text messages and inquiries from friends and family. What have you heard so far from the rest of your colleagues?
I haven't really talked. I've only talked to one colleague so far. I went live on Facebook just because everybody's hungry for information on what's happening, and I've just been blowing up with requests from my family and my friends, trying to see if I've been all right. There was one person I believe worked in the facility who actually witnessed the shooting, and I actually have his interview on my phone.
Oh, I'll try and get that from you in a little bit, unless you want to. Would you like to pull that up now? Do you have a moment?
Okay, so a reporter from our affiliate KGO speaking with an eyewitness who explained what he heard, what he saw, and the circumstances of what may have gone on at the campus of YouTube in San Bruno, California. That is where police said they were responding to reports of an active shooter. And indeed, a local hospital says they have treated between 4 or 5 victims. We're not sure, though, whether those injuries are gunshot wounds or whether they may have been sustained some other way. But now we are hearing from eyewitnesses that the gunshots were heard while a party on an outdoor patio at the YouTube headquarters had just been getting underway. So seemingly, the gunman or the female shooter, as reports have indicated, may have already been inside the campus. In other words, didn't walk up to this party, but may have known about it in advance, may have understood what was happening, and for some reason, that may have been a target. We'll wait to find out from San Bruno Police as they continue to be the lead agency with backup from the ATF, the San Mateo County Sheriff's Department. FBI officials said they are on standby to respond if in fact that becomes necessary. A moment ago, the White House confirmed that President Trump has been briefed on the active shooter situation at YouTube headquarters. The White House is monitoring the situation, according to Press Secretary Sarah Sanders, and perhaps deploying federal resources as needed. The San Bruno police chief is getting ready to brief reporters. As soon as that briefing happens, we'll of course bring you the latest from the authorities about what has gone on at the campus of YouTube. The authorities have been telling us they responded to an active shooter, but they have not yet said the circumstances of that shooting, how many shots were fired, or how many victims they may well have been. We have heard from eyewitnesses that the shooter may well be contained, maybe down, but the authorities have not yet said. Let's hear some more eyewitness accounts from the scene, speaking to our affiliate KGO.
Do you work at YouTube? These are all YouTube?
Yeah.
Did you see what happened?
I didn't see, but I heard like running. I heard the shot. I didn't
You
see
heard the shots?
Yeah.
Where did this happen? In the cafeteria area, from what we understand?
Yeah, that's what I heard, but I'm not fully sure. That's what I heard.
Okay, and you're being instructed to leave the premise?
Yeah.
Okay, and where do you plan on staging at this point?
Sorry?
Where do you plan on going from here?
So they're taking to a different building there, and then we'll probably leave.
A different YouTube building?
Yeah.
Got it. Thank you very much, sir. Okay, once again, we have dozens upon dozens of YouTube employees who are being instructed, at least from what I understand.
Okay, reporter at KGO speaking to an eyewitness who was there on scene at YouTube headquarters in San Bruno, California. That campus has been blocked off. The authorities have stopped traffic in surrounding streets, and they've urged the public to stay away as they investigate what they're calling an active shooter that they responded to now well over an hour ago. Steve Gomez, formerly of the FBI and now an ABC News contributor on law enforcement matters, is with us. Steve, as we learn a little bit more from eyewitnesses, multiple shots, possibly a female gunman, possibly an outdoor patio party that was targeted. What do you make of what we know so far?
Well, without any other information about statements made by the shooter or shooters and anything else, you tend to look at these set of facts and these circumstances as a workplace violence type of situation where the probability that there was an employee who was already in the building, the fact that there is a party, which means a large gathering, if somebody is going to want to commit a workplace violence, act, then they look for a place where they can find a large group of people, especially if there are more than one person who they are looking to harm, and they think they're all going to be at the party. So that's what this is leading towards. I mean, we're still going to hoping that we're going to find out more as far as what was said and what were the actual movements of the shooter and or shooters. I mean, we still don't know if it's one shooter, more than one. Definitely sounds like there were multiple gunshots. There are definitely multiple injuries, and it still sounds like we had 200 officers that were described to us by a witness that went into the building, and we haven't heard anything about those officers coming out. So we don't know if there's still an area that they're trying to clear, trying to secure, and is there potentially a hostage situation? We still don't know anything about the shooter and or shooter. So still more to come, but it looks like this is leaning towards a workplace violence situation.
Too many questions and too few answers so far after what police called an active shooter at the campus of YouTube in San Bruno, California. The posture of the first responders in the last little while has certainly relaxed some. So perhaps they are close to having this contained, if not entirely wrapped up. And we just heard from the San Bruno Police Department that there would be a briefing with the chief coming up a short while from now. We'll, of course, bring that to you, but also it is an indication that they're comfortable enough to at least give some preliminary information as to what happened. Earlier today, YouTube employees were led out of their building where the apparent shots were fired. Their hands were in the air, and also they had been searched by the authorities as they came outside before being led fully away from campus. Police had locked off the streets surrounding the area and urged the public to stay away while they searched the building for the apparent shooter that was inside. Eyewitnesses said they heard multiple shots fired, perhaps as many as 15, according to one eyewitness, that appeared to all have occurred near an outdoor patio area where there had been some kind of lunchtime party underway. We had seen aerial images of that scene, the outdoor patio, where a number of chairs had been overturned and other items toppled, suggesting that something did happen to cause people who were sitting there at the time to flee rather quickly. An area hospital has told us that they are treating 4 or 5 victims from the shooting, but they did not make clear that those injuries were in fact gunshot wounds or whether there was some other kind of authority or of injury that was caused by people maybe running away. So we wait to see. We have just confirmed with law enforcement sources that the suspect in the YouTube shooting is female. The suspect in the YouTube shooting is female. It is not immediately clear, though, whether she is in custody, dead, alive, contained, not. The authorities just have not yet said. But clearly, a lot of shaken nerves at YouTube headquarters, where shots were fired, according to eyewitnesses, and police said they were responding to an active shooting and shut down the area in San Bruno, California, as they try to bring this to a close. John Cohen, another ABC News consultant, formerly at the Department of Homeland Security, that the gunman was female seems to be unusual in this kind of scenario, but not unheard of.
It's not unheard of, but it is, as you pointed out, unusual. The Secret Service, the United States Secret Service, just released a report last week, I believe, where they looked at 28 of the most recent active shooter situations, and they broke down the information regarding the suspects in those situations, and 100% of the suspects were male. So this would be somewhat of a departure from what we have been seeing lately. But again, it's not something that's completely unheard of.
John, as you have learned with us the scant information we have about what's gone on there in San Bruno, California at the YouTube headquarters, what do you make of this? Is this workplace violence? Is this something more?
Well, we don't know yet. The first thing that law enforcement is going to do in a situation like this is enter the location, locate the shooter or shooters, and stop them from shooting. Then the second step will be 2 things simultaneously: begin to clear the building to make sure there's no other shooters, and then begin treating the people who are injured. The next step in that is to try to put the pieces of the puzzle together to figure out what exactly happened. So we will learn more probably pretty quickly regarding what the motive was behind the attack, but it's too soon to tell at this point in time.
John, this is your area of study, these kinds of shootings, and there have been far too many of them in this country.
That's absolutely right. And in many respects, as we've talked about in the past, part of the problem is that we aren't refocusing our efforts from a prevention perspective to pick up on the people who are preparing to conduct these types of attacks and stop them from doing so. It means that people in the community need to think about this problem a little bit differently, but more importantly, law enforcement and mental health professionals need to begin thinking about this problem more or differently. As we have seen in past incidents, these shooters typically exhibit behaviors prior to the attack which cause concern amongst family members, co-workers, other students if it's an academic environment. So we really need to change the way we work at the local level and the way local authorities work with federal authorities to do a better job at detecting and preventing these types of threats.
John Cohen, formerly of the Department of Homeland Security and now an ABC News contributor on these law enforcement matters, local and federal authorities at the moment are focused squarely on San Bruno, California, and trying to determine what happened when a female gunman, we're told, walked into YouTube headquarters and opened fire. Eyewitnesses reported hearing some 15 shots. An area hospital said they treated 4 or 5 victims for as yet unconfirmed injuries. And we are awaiting a briefing from the San Bruno police chief. In the meantime, I want to turn to ABC's Alex Stone for what he knows in the very latest. Alex.
Well, and Aaron, we're being told by police, and we will hear from the chief here in just a moment. We've been hearing a lot about this back patio, that there may have been an event going on, and that back patio, a number of the chairs have been overturned. There is what appears to be a yellow tarp. We don't know if there is a body underneath that tarp, but does appear that there was activity on that back patio. And as we have been watching things relax on scene, fewer of the employees have been coming out as well. Seems that many of the employees who were coming out one by one, getting searched, getting patted down, getting their backpacks looked through, that much of that has now calmed down as well. Police are walking around without the helmets on. One officer in that back patio area right now, where, by the way, there are yellow evidence markers that you would typically see if there were spent rounds, if there was some kind of evidence to mark off. There's one officer very casually right now walking through that area, no gun across his chest, no helmet on, that very clearly it seems the threat, at least outside of the building, has subsided. But we should hear more from the chief here in just a moment.
We'll look forward to that. ABC's Alex Stone following developments with us out of San Bruno, California, where a female shooter appears to have opened fire at the headquarters of YouTube. The campus has been shut down. Employees have been let out with their hands up and then searched as they were moved away from campus. As Alex notes, and right in line with what eyewitnesses have told us, that there was some kind of party going on around lunchtime at an outdoor patio where the tables and chairs have all been overturned and where this shooting may have started. It is not immediately clear the circumstances of the female shooter, whether she is dead, alive, captured, or not, but the posture of the authorities has certainly relaxed. And the police chief in San Bruno, California, is expected to soon brief reporters from the scene, and we'll await those details. The FBI has now responded to this scene, as has the ATF, joining San Bruno Police and the San Mateo, California Sheriff's Department as the main authorities on scene, along with California Highway Patrol.
I don't know the conditions of the people we expect. At 3:30 this afternoon, we're going to convene again. I'll bring a trauma surgeon from our trauma practice here to explain in greater depth what the injuries are and what the conditions of the patients are.
Okay, San Francisco General Hospital with a briefing now.
Brent Andrew.
Brent, I just got here.
Yeah, no worries. Sure. First, we've received 3 patients, 2 females and a male. The females are one is in serious condition, one's in fair condition. The male is in critical condition.
Okay. That's all I got.
Ages one more time?
Females are 32 and 27. The male
One serious 32
yes.
and one fair
27, yes. And the critical male
critical.
36.
36.
Then I'm going to take a picture of your page because I don't have a notebook.
Okay, so at San Francisco General Hospital, the report is 3 patients, 2 women, 32 and 27. The 32-year-old's in serious condition. The 27-year-old woman's in fair condition. There was also a male patient taken to San Francisco General Hospital, 36 years old, in critical condition, joining 4 or 5 other patients taken to a different hospital. So we have upwards of 8 victims total so far that we know of after gunfire at the headquarters of YouTube in San Bruno, California. Let's see if the San Francisco General Hospital spokesman gives us any more.
So the other trauma center nearby is at Stanford. And I know they've received patients also.
Do you know how many?
I don't.
Okay. Do you know how many total victims there are?
I do not.
Have any of these patients talked about what happened?
Not to me.
Not to you. So 3:30 we get more information.
Correct.
And until then,
Right. Tell me your last name again.
thank you, Andrew.
All right, a spokesman from San Francisco General Hospital confirming 3 patients taken there, adding another 4 or 5 at a different level 1 trauma center in the area. So we have so far 8 victims after this shooting. Now, again, you heard the conditions, serious, fair, critical, but we did not hear the nature of the injury. So we don't know whether these people were shot, whether they were injured some other way after gunfire by a female gunman, we're told, at YouTube headquarters in San Bruno, California. I'm Aaron Katersky. You're listening to live coverage from ABC News. The authorities in San Bruno are getting set for a news conference to deliver the latest details to us. It is a sign that at least they're comfortable enough moving away from the investigation to give us some information. So that may be a sign that things are starting to calm down, but nonetheless, no real confirmed information yet after a female gunman, we're told, opened fire at what may have been an outdoor patio party. Police and federal agents have all converged on YouTube's headquarters now in the San Francisco Bay Area, responding to what they called an active shooting. In San Bruno, they did not immediately provide more information, but the city did say they took multiple 911 calls reporting gunfire, and that was certainly consistent with some of the eyewitness accounts that we had heard from the scene. The aerial pictures that we had seen, just a second, somebody is...
timeline of what we know now and where we're at this point. So if you'll bear with me, information is coming in. It's obviously a very fluid situation, and we're doing the best we can to keep everybody up to date. So at 12:46 p.m. this afternoon, San Bruno Police Department received numerous 911 calls regarding gunshots at the YouTube campus located on Cherry Avenue in our city. San Bruno Police arrived on scene at 12:48 and immediately began a search for a possible shooter or suspect. Upon arrival, officers encountered numerous employees fleeing from the building. It was very chaotic, as you can imagine. We did encounter one victim with an apparent gunshot wound towards the front of the business as we arrived. Several minutes later, while conducting a search of the premises, officers located a second individual with a gunshot wound that appears to may have been self-inflicted. We are still working on confirming that. 2 additional victims.
This is an ABC News special report.
Hey, good afternoon. I'm Tom Yamas. We interrupt programming to bring you breaking news from out west, just outside of San Francisco, where there's been a shooting at YouTube headquarters. Police are calling this an active shooter situation. The FBI and the ATF are also on the scene. This is still very preliminary, but sources tell ABC News, and our station down there, KGO, is also reporting this. The shooter is believed to be a woman. San Bruno Police Chief Ed Barberini is about to start a news conference. Let's listen in.
Hi, my name is Ed Barberini. I am the police chief with the San Bruno Police Department. And what I'd like to do is just give you a quick briefing and a timeline of what we know now and where we're at this point. So if you'll bear with me, information is coming in. It's obviously a very fluid situation. We're doing the best we can to keep everybody up to date. So at 12:46 p.m. this afternoon, San Bruno Police Department received numerous 911 calls regarding gunshots at the YouTube campus located on Cherry Avenue in our city. San Bruno Police arrived on scene at 12:48 and immediately began a search for a possible shooter or suspect. Upon arrival, officers encountered numerous employees fleeing from the building. It was very chaotic, as you can imagine. We did encounter one victim with an apparent gunshot wound towards the front of the business as we arrived. Several minutes later, while conducting a search of the premises, officers located a second individual with a gunshot wound that appears to may have been self-inflicted. We are still working on confirming that. 2 additional victims were located several minutes later at an adjacent business. The extent of all of the injuries of our victims are unknown right now. They were all transported for emergency medical care, but they are all unknown. So if I missed that, we have 4 victims who have all been transported for gunshot-related injuries, and we have 1 subject who's deceased inside the building with a self-inflicted wound that at this time we believe to be the shooter, but we're still following up on that. Multiple law enforcement agencies have responded to assist. We're very grateful for everyone's help and assistance, but we could not have responded and accomplished this without everybody's help. This is an active event and an active investigation, and numerous law enforcement personnel from numerous different local agencies are still conducting a search of the business just to make sure that that it is clear. We conducted a quick, immediate search of the premises when the first officers arrived as pursuant to our active shooter protocol. And after that search was concluded, now we're going through with a methodical, slow search just to make sure that we cover all the bases. That's all I have for you at this time. We hope to have something a little later. I cannot give you the time of the next press update, but we'll put that out as soon as we have that information. I'm sorry? No, I cannot confirm that. It's a female. My understanding is that they've been transported and they're being treated for injuries that are treatable. We're hoping for the best, obviously.
Are there more people inside the building, or?
My understanding is the building has been evacuated. There are people in the immediate area. We're obviously trying to contact a large amount of people to try to identify and gain some information from witnesses at the scene. So you can imagine it's a monumental task with the number of employees that work inside the building.
Can you tell us about what weapon?
I'm sorry?
Can you tell us about what weapon or weapons?
I don't have that information. I'm sorry.
Do you have the police, Bruno, the sheriff, who else is?
We have. I haven't taken inventory of all the agencies here. There are numerous agencies. We work well with our neighboring partners, and we're grateful that they're here. But there's a lot of them. Yeah, I want to clarify that we did locate a victim with what we believe to be a self-inflicted gunshot wound. It's a female, but the investigation is still ongoing before we can put all the pieces together.
Is the person an ex-employee?
I don't have any information regarding that.
Looking for another shooter?
We are clearing the building and searching the building in a slow, methodical manner like we would do anyway. So we haven't eliminated that possibility, but we have no information to suggest that there's somebody else in there that we're looking for.
Where are the employees now? We saw them walking down the street.
Yeah, a lot of employees self-evacuated, as you can imagine. We've identified a group that we want to talk to, and we have staging areas where our detectives are reaching out to them and interviewing them. So we're trying to do as orderly as we can, but a lot of people, pretty hectic scenario. So it's a task.
How many people have been evacuated?
They're now besides the ones that you're identifying.
No, I believe my understanding is that the building has been evacuated, so they're all outside of that building.
Okay, how many people are you talking about here?
Several hundred, a few hundred. I'm sorry, a few hundred. It was my understanding.
In what drawer was she?
I don't know.
And was a boyfriend there?
I have no idea. I don't know the circumstances surrounding this.
It was
this
only
at all.
one shooter.
I don't want to eliminate any possibility. I don't know any of that for sure. Like I said, this is still active. We're still investigating this as I'm speaking to you. So there's a lot of things that I just simply don't know right now. I don't have that information. Right? I will try to get you an update as soon as we can once we know more. But I think that I've given you almost everything that we know at this point. So I appreciate it. Yeah, when we know, I don't want to give you a time because I may not have a lot for you. So when we can identify a time that's appropriate to come back and update you again, we'll do that immediately. We'll probably put that out through our media list and through social media.
Sorry, Chief. We understand from one employee that police had to borrow badges in order to access parts of the building. Did you have any trouble getting where you?
I don't have any information regarding that right now.
Any problem with security at YouTube? We've heard there's not even metal detectors.
We're not even at that point yet. We're still trying to address the situation in front of us. Okay, I will get you some more information in a few minutes. I don't know. They've not been identified. So that's all I have. And again, I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Thank you.
And if you're just joining us, we've been listening to the Chief of Police of the San Bruno Police Department updating the news media on that shooting at YouTube headquarters in San Bruno. The biggest headline that came out of that news conference, the shooter who is now deceased is a female, which is very big news. I want to go to Pierre Thomas, our senior justice correspondent, who's been tracking the developments. And Pierre, the headline out of this, so far, one victim believed to be the shooter, dead with a self-inflicted gunshot wound, but that shooter is a woman, something we have not seen in a very long time, definitely not in the last year, at some of these major shootings across the country.
That's exactly right, Tom. Police saying that they encountered a very chaotic situation, did encounter a deceased woman on the floor at the YouTube headquarters, apparently from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. That's why they think that this person is the shooter. As you said, extremely rare to have a female shooter in these circumstances. Last year, the Secret Service did a study of roughly 28 such mass shooting incidents. All the perpetrators were male.
I also want to bring in now one of our analysts, a former FBI agent who studies mass shootings, Brad Garrett. Brad, you heard the news conference there. Break it down for us. We know that the shooter apparently is dead, a female. 3 to 4 other victims with gunshot wounds as well. This happened at 12:46 on the West Coast during the lunchtime. YouTube, a sprawling campus there in San Bruno, 1,700 employees, possibly targeting the lunch hour. What did you make from other things the police chief told us?
Well, that you have basically 4 people hospitalized and a dead shooter. So the real question, Tom, here is motive. Did the shooter go there to shoot a particular person during the lunch hour and then take their own lives and other people just happen to get shot? That remains to be seen. So, the real key is motive, and is there anybody else connected to her?
Now, Brad, the target here, or the place where this happened, YouTube headquarters, which is owned by Google, what does that mean? Could this have no connection whatsoever, or could it have a huge connection because of all the people that log on to YouTube every single day and or use Google?
This goes, Tom, from personal, I'm going there to shoot an individual, to I hate Google, I hate YouTube, I don't like something on YouTube. It's really hard to say at this point until we have more information. But, you sort of have to function in, what do we know about this woman? And does she have connections, or has she sent out other people or other pieces of information that would suggest that this is bigger than just her?
A major revelation, no doubt. A female shooter at YouTube headquarters who we now understand is dead. This is still an ongoing and active situation, so we will continue to monitor the story on abcnews.com, and we will have live team coverage on World News Tonight. We now return to our regularly scheduled programming.
This has been a special report from ABC News.
A lot of information that is placed on YouTube. Some of it could be controversial, and it could result in some type of animosity, friction. People could want to act out and target YouTube. So you would expect that this is a company that would have very, very solid security measures in place. Typically, when you have a company like that's very well known, has a lot of notoriety, there's always a lot of coordination that takes place ahead of time with law enforcement, with public safety agencies. In the event there is a situation, whether it's a threat targeting YouTube and its employees, or if there is an actual situation that we have here today. So those are some of the areas that will be examined, and we'll have to take a look at that in the investigation, and then, of course, any press announcements as far as the timing and the methodology for law enforcement as they make their approach and try to get entry in there, and if that cost them some time if they try to make entry.
And John Cohen, the time is of the essence, right? Because most of the deaths and injuries, as you've been studying some of these mass shootings, happens in the first several minutes, right?
Yeah, that's right. And I mean, that's why we've seen a major change in the way that law enforcement thinks about responding to these types of incidents, where they will either send in specially trained law enforcement officers who've been trained in how to deal with trauma victims, or they'll team up with specially trained paramedics from the fire department or emergency medical services. But it's a little odd to me because while private sector companies have done a lot to increase security around their locations and make access into buildings more difficult, there typically is coordination with local law enforcement in the event of a situation like this, so officers can very quickly get access to these buildings. So, as with these tragedies, there will be a lot of questions that will be asked and answered in after action reviews to see if there have to be any changes in the way that the security personnel and law enforcement personnel prepared for this type of an event.
John Cohen, formerly of the Department of Homeland Security, one of our contributors here at ABC News on Law Enforcement Matters. All of these questions, as John and Steve both suggest, to come, but the authorities have not been able to answer any of the immediate questions about why this shooting happened. Was it a case of workplace violence? Was there a domestic situation that preceded it? Is it terrorism? The motivation of the female shooter was not made clear, but that female shooter is dead of an apparent self-inflicted gunshot wound, according to the San Bruno, California police, after shooting and injuring 4 people who were all taken to the hospital in varying conditions. We had heard from San Francisco General that a man, 36 years old, was in critical condition. 2 women who arrived at the hospital after the shooting, a 32-year-old and a 27-year-old, were in serious and fair condition. Another area hospital reported having 4 gunshot victims as well. So we are still waiting to clarify all of the numbers and whether any of these people self-reported, whether they had injuries other than gunshots, as police stay put under sunny skies in the afternoon there in San Bruno, California, the bucolic campus of YouTube, disturbed by gunfire that targeted apparently an outdoor patio where a number of people were gathered for a party. We don't know whether these gunshot victims were targeted or whether they just happened to be there when the female shooter arrived, but the eyewitnesses said that there looked like there was some kind of party getting underway in this outdoor patio area when the shots rang out. How many shots, what type of weapon, police were not able to say, but they said they were on scene at YouTube headquarters 2 minutes after the initial calls came. Officers first noticed a couple of gunshot victims and then found the female shooter dead of a self-inflicted gunshot wound. In total, 4 victims were transported for gunshot-related injuries, all according to the San Bruno police chief who spoke just moments ago. ABC News consultant Steve Gomez still with us as we piece together what happened. We know the White House has been briefed. The FBI has been called in. The FBI had kind of stayed on the sidelines, but not long ago ended up going to the scene. That doesn't tell us anything in and of itself, but it does suggest that there may be more to this than less, if that makes any sense to you.
Yes, and because there are so many questions about what transpired and why, you want to keep all investigative options on the table. You don't want to rule out anything, whether it is a domestic dispute, workplace violence, terrorism, some kind of animosity towards YouTube, what have you. I mean, it could still be a number of different things until the investigation bears out the motive and the relationship that the shooter had with those specific individuals that were injured, or were they just randomly picked? Those are some of the questions that have to be answered. And you don't ever want to hone in on any particular path of the investigation. I mean, until you start to have facts and circumstances that take you to a path that you can prove, whether it's, something that's going to go to court. In this case, it looks like the shooter is dead, or you just want to be able to establish what truly happened for everybody involved. So that's something that the investigation will bear out.
And that is Steve Gomez, formerly of the FBI and now an ABC News consultant on law enforcement matters, after San Bruno's police chief, Ed Barberini, said that 4 people were shot and wounded, and a woman was dead of a self-inflicted gunshot wound inside the campus of YouTube in San Bruno, California. The building has been evacuated. He said there were a few hundred people inside. They are still investigating now the circumstances surrounding the shooting. So let's get to ABC's Alex Stone with the very latest. Alex.
Well, and that's a big question now, Aaron. What led up to this? And police say they're telling us everything they know. They don't know right now what led up to it. They have been so focused on trying to clear the building, trying to make sure that they have found everybody who could be a suspect and everybody who could be a victim to get out of there, that only now are they going to begin asking those questions. Early on, we had heard on police radios that they thought they had a shooter who was a female down with the weapon, who was with her. That appears to be we had been talking a while back about the tarp that looked like on the back patio, that they had a tarp with potentially a body underneath, that may be that area that police have been focused on. But they do believe right now that she was the only shooter, that it was this female. The weapon is next to her body, and they are working on that. Now, they're not ruling out that somebody else could have been involved, but they see no indication that there was somebody else involved. And Aaron, we always hear with any of these cases that there could be multiple gunmen, that people report seeing this, seeing that. We saw it in Vegas. They saw it all the way back to Columbine. But in this case, they say yet again, they got lots of reports of potentially multiple shooters, but they think it is only the one. A lot of times people see police responding in plain clothes and think that's another shooter. They see security. They see people who have their own weapons concealed that they pull out, and they get multiple reports. But they think that this is only one shooter, and they think at this point the shooter is down, but just to make sure, they are searching that building to be 100% certain that there isn't somebody else involved.
Alex, I know you saw some of the aerials of the outdoor patio where this appears to have been concentrated with the overturned chairs, a clear sign that people had scattered. And you mentioned the tarp covering the apparent body of the female shooter who was found dead of an apparent self-inflicted gunshot wound. Were you able to make out the weapon, long gun, short gun? I couldn't quite make it out.
No, hard to tell. And according to the police chief, he says he doesn't even know, as they've been put so much of the focus on clearing the building. Hard to tell there. It does look like that this happened on that back patio. Whether it was, and it would have been around the right time at 12:46, just lunch hour, and people were out there outside of a cafeteria and eating, or if there was, in fact, as some witnesses have said, maybe a party that was going on out there. But there are a lot of yellow evidence markers all around. The police have already laid there, likely bullet casings, maybe drops of blood, that sort of thing. And then what we believe to be the suspect's body, protected by police and with a tarp over it, just inside of a walkway that looks like she had either just come out of the building or was just going to go into that building. But does look like many people would have at their workplace, an outdoor area. It's got canopies set up. It's got umbrellas for folks to eat under. A sunny day, beautiful day in the San Francisco Bay Area, the Silicon Valley, when the shooting happened right during the noon hour as folks were outside.
ABC's Alex Stone following developments at YouTube headquarters today. It was, as he said, during the lunch hour when a female shooter opened fire, shooting and wounding several employees at YouTube headquarters. 4 of them have been transported with gunshot wounds. San Francisco General Hospital said at least one of them is in critical condition, a 36-year-old male. 2 women received there are in serious and fair condition. Another couple of those victims may have gone to a different hospital as well, still sorting out some of the different injuries and conditions. A moment ago, President Trump on Twitter said that he was just briefed on the shooting at YouTube's headquarters in California. He said, "Our thoughts and prayers are with everybody involved," and he thanked the law enforcement officers and first responders that are on scene and remain on scene to try and understand what exactly has happened. Let's get a quick thought from Steve Gomez, formerly of the FBI and now an ABC News consultant, as they dig into what happened here, Steve. We'll get to Steve in a second. John Cohen, formerly of the Department of Homeland Security, on where this investigation goes. John.
Well, I mean, all I would say in closing is that we're just several weeks away from the Parkland shooting. And once again, we are on air discussing the fact that a armed individual walked into a location and shot or took actions that resulted in the injuries of multiple people. This is the primary concern of law enforcement today across the country, which is the increase of these types of mass casualty attacks or active shooter situations, which seemingly are having to be dealt with every several weeks.
John Cohen, formerly of the Department of Homeland Security at YouTube headquarters. 4 were shot and wounded. A female shooter is dead of an apparent self-inflicted gunshot wound, according to the police in San Bruno, California. For my colleagues, I'm Aaron Katursky. You've been listening to live coverage from ABC News.
Or fatalities, it is just going to bring those issues back to the fore and supercharge them one more time.
Ron, if you could hang with us for just a second, I want to bring in Gilbert Diaz. He's a CBS News photojournalist. He joins me now by phone. Gilbert, can you tell me your exact location and exactly what you've seen so far?
Yes, Rena. I'm right here at the YouTube main headquarters. I'm looking at a large police presence with many cars. The streets are blocked off. It looks as though all of the workers at the YouTube corporation, they're all in the parking lot. So they've all been moved away. There are large numbers of people in the parking lot and a huge police presence, many police cars keeping everyone back.
Gilbert, have you seen, we're hearing reports that in fact there are patients who are expected to be heading toward the general hospital there not far. Have you seen any people taken away in ambulances at this point?
Not at this time. No, I'm standing right here at the, I can clearly see the YouTube headquarters, lots of police presence, no ambulances or anybody. Well, although I do see a couple of ambulances parked, but nobody being taken away at this time.
So would you say it's? I'm sorry, Gilbert, go ahead.
I see there are SWAT teams present here. A lot of people just looking on, helicopters overhead, and it just looks as though people are sort of standing by to determine what the next move is. Huge police presence, lots of police cars, and many of the areas are blocked off. But I don't see anybody leaving in terms of ambulances or people like that are injured, anything like that at this point.
Let's go to work. Let's get into this.
And do we know anything more at this point, Gilbert, about who the shooter, the potential shooter might be?
So, hold on a second. Let me get to my page here. I want to see what you guys are saying out there. Let's see, live stream. Okay. I got so much trouble on my mind. Refuse to lose. Here's your ticket. Can a brother get wicked? Let's see. Okay, so what I want to do here is I want to sign out. Sign out. No, I gotta keep it on. trying to figure this thing out, trying to get y'all on this live feed here. So we can have a little discussion. Let's see. So I need to, let's see. Okay, I think I got it figured out here, y'all. Do here. Share the screen. Where is it? Share the screen. Okay, I'm going to share this screen. Okay, I think we good. Okay, let's see what y'all saying about this. Let's see what y'all saying about the shooting. All right, this thing is not working out like I'm hoping. I was hoping it would. All right, I tell you what, we'll just go like this. We'll just do it like this, and I'll just go back to the whole thing later. Because I don't think I'm able to let y'all see the screen of what's going on and watch this screen. So anyway, so let's see what y'all saying. Let's see. Slowly but surely, their rule is out of time. They will destroy themselves. All right, y'all. I'm not finna playing to this this black white shit y'all got going on, man. I understand everybody angry and but shit, man. Let's try to have a intelligent discussion. Let's try to move forward, man. Let's try to figure out how we can. Where's the answers? Can somebody give me some answers, or somebody add some insight? Speak on something that ain't gonna. I'm not gonna some old regular stuff I ain't gonna see on here every day. Let's see. Somebody, Drama Queen says she got her channel terminated. Bet. I am interested in knowing, like, why did she go in there? Why did she go inside of that YouTube headquarters and start busting? I'm interested to know that. Let's see, who is this? Vulcanus. Appreciate you. Let's see. D. Ross says, I smell a rat, the shooter is dead, and no one taken away in ambulances. So D. Ross is suspicious. D. Ross thinks it's fake news, probably. Miss Woodard, no, I'm not sick. You know, that coughing that you heard, that was from that reporter on ABC. Let's see. Vanessa Jackson says this video gave us more info than the news channel did. Word up. Who was the shooter? The shooter, Barry and White says, who was the shooter? We just know the shooter to be a female. At least that's what they told us. Okay, Matthew says, to Minnie Mouse, gotta see it's people hurting or full of hate due to fear. Gotta remember the old message of we all bleed the same, all feel pain. We're just people. Hate is hate, but it's driven by fear. Right on, Matt. Hate is driven by fear. 3D the Destroyer. I'm not a racist. What color was she? Hypocrisy. Look, man. You know, it's like at this stage of the game, outside of police shootings, when they killing black folks, it really don't matter who the shooter was, because everybody's shooting and everybody is abusing children. Everybody playing with guns and accidentally killing their friends. Everybody is cheating, and people just having incest and doing all kind of crazy. I mean, people, it just doesn't matter. So it's like, it trips me out when people withhold judgment based on race. Like, wait, I ain't gonna say nothing. Let me see what the race of the person is first. Like, for me, it don't really matter. Like, I'm gonna feel the same way. My answer gonna be the same way. If I see a story in the news and it's compelling, it don't matter what the race of the person is. I'm gonna cover it. If I feel like it's something that y'all need to hear or y'all can learn from, I'm gonna put the story out there. So it don't matter to me what the race of the person is. That's the subject of the story. So I don't see why it should matter so much to people what the race is of the person, you know, or what the race is of the subject. I don't see why it matters that much, except for the fact that you just have a whole bunch of prejudiced ass people out there, and they're just sitting back, just waiting. You know, it's like, and it's mostly a black and white thing. That's America. That's America for you, though. A lot of black people sit back and wait to see if it's a white person, and they go in real hard. If it's a white person, they every name in the book. If it's a black person, they got a different type of spin on the answer. White people sit back and wait, see if it's a black person. If it's a black person, boy, they unload. They can't wait. And the shit makes no sense, because that ain't how you move forward. That ain't how you get anywhere. That's not how you resolve issues. If you're sitting back prejudging, you already got an answer, and your answer is based. You got two answers or two comments, and it's based on the complexion of the person. That's it. It's not based on rationale. It's just based on the complexion of the person. Makes absolutely no sense to me. It's like when y'all leave y'all comments, like I want you to be free thinkers, and I don't need y'all to agree with me. I don't care if you agree with me or not, but it just trips me out when people make their opinion based solely on complexion. It just makes no sense to me. If I see somebody doing something foul, don't matter what it just don't matter what the race is. I'm gonna get them. You know, if I see somebody doing something that's courageous or worth mentioning in a good light, I'm a big up them. That's just how I rock. All right, let's see. John from East Birmingham. Let's politic. Okay, all right, that's it. BB Mac entitlement issues. And people get all off subject, man. All this shit y'all be talking about sometime ain't got nothing to do with the topic. Like I put the topics out there, I put the subjects out there so that we can learn, so that we can get some information, so that we can share some information. Because I don't know all the answers, so I'll be looking for y'all to give me some answers. I want to hear what y'all think, but I want to hear the thinkers. I don't want to hear somebody just rambling and people just throwing out crazy comments just to make a comment. Like it's like kind of like when I watch a city hall meeting and people just do a lot of filibustering or something. They're just going back and forth and they just saying pretty words and it's not going anywhere. It's like it's no solutions. Like it's people out here that may be on the edge. So if you can give them some information, they can come here and get some information that might be able to help them. That's a good thing. And if they get the more information, good information, solid information they can get, the better. I don't want them coming over here and just reading a whole bunch of, ignorant, divisive shit. They can get that anywhere. That's all over the internet. Let's see. So for those of you who are just joining us, we were talking about the shooting in California at the YouTube headquarters. A woman, they say a woman went into the offices over there and started shooting. And as far as we know, there's one fatality, and that was the active shooter. The woman, they think it was a self-inflicted wound. So that's pretty much all we know. And there was some other people that was injured, but we don't know if they were injured by gunfire or some other way. There you go. There goes something right there. Muhammad says, might be a love triangle. Yeah, you never know. That happens a lot in the workplace. Like, and the thing is this too, y'all. If the shooter is white, what does it matter if the shooter is white, right? Like if it was a white female, is it going to bring any more peace to the people than the people that was involved? Is it going to make them feel any safer? If the shooter was a black female, is it going to make them feel any safer? If the shooter was a Muslim female, is it going to make them feel any safer? No. I tell you what it will do though, based on the race of the person, the authorities, law enforcement, the legal people, they will go in there and write a bill and they will target people, target certain people if those people belong to a certain ethnicity. Yeah, they'll do that. The police will go in and target people and profile people even more if that person is of a certain ethnicity. So y'all know how that go. But other than that, whatever damage that person done, it don't matter. that person who killed themselves, their family is still, I'm sure somebody loved them. So I'm sure the family tore up. We don't know if the woman had children or not. Don't know if she was married, but we know she was somebody's daughter. We know that for a fact. So, except if they're white. Yeah. The ethnicity of the person don't matter to the person that's left behind. They're not, to the family members of loved ones left behind. Whatever that ethnicity of that person is, that's what I'm saying. The pain gonna be the same for the family members and friends. It don't matter what the race is. The pain is gonna be the same. Okay, I'm hearing somebody saying color don't matter, but white people make it matter. Okay, this is what I'm saying, y'all. You basically just said what I said, right? We all know that part, right? But I'm saying in the context of making a comment about the race of the person. You dig what I'm saying? Like if a person go in and shoot up a drugstore, anybody is capable of going in and shooting up a drugstore. Now we know it's certain crimes, as soon as you hear the crime, you already kind of know who the person is that committed the crime, right? But my point is that all races got bad apples. So the minute you just talking about these people over here, they're gonna just be sitting back and waiting till your turn come around, because it will come around. America got killers all over this damn place. It's a bunch of killers here, man. America's greatest terrorist is right here in the US. All these white dudes out here committing mass murder. All of these black and Hispanic dudes out here in the hood, picking off people one at a time, terrorizing the neighborhoods. All these dirty ass cops out here killing, mostly white cops. It's a bunch of killing. It's a bunch of killing to go, it's enough killing to go around. So my point is that people just sit back and wait and withhold judgment based on race when, if you feel a certain way about a crime, if you have a certain conviction, that conviction that you have should be irrespective of race. If you don't like pedophiles, it doesn't matter if the pedophile is white or black. You should want that pedophile done, right? You should hate him regardless. You should want him crucified regardless. You should want him castrated regardless. So if it was me and I heard about some dude did this to a child or whatever, to me, I'm gonna go in on him the same way. So don't get it confused, y'all. Now, I understand why I'm at. I know I'm in America. And in America, race will always have a part in everything. But I'm saying, as far as like the people, when you hear about a story, a tragic story is a tragic story. And if a person commit a certain crime, if I hear about the crime, it doesn't matter. Like, say for instance, think about the bomber in Austin. Well, we all, damn near everybody of us, I think it was a damn near 100% consensus that that bomber was a white male. I think almost everybody knew that. All the white people knew that because we were just going based on history. That's just what white males do. I'm not saying all white males, of course, but when there's a bombing in America and it's targeting black people, then it's normally a white male. We know this. And so a lot of people felt, okay, yeah, it's probably a white male. And sure enough, it was a white male. But even if it wasn't a white male, if it turned out to be a black male, I would have still got dead on his ass the same way I did the white bomber. You see the point I'm making? I wouldn't have gave that bastard no slack because he was black. I would have still got on his ass the same exact way. And what I'm saying is that some people don't do that. Oh, since he white, I'm gonna give him a break. I'm prejudiced, so he white, I'm gonna give him a break. I ain't gonna say nothing. I know that was low down dirty, but I ain't gonna say nothing because he white. Oh, because he black, oh, I ain't gonna say nothing because he black. Oh, he Asian, I ain't gonna say nothing because he Asian. He Hispanic, Latino, I ain't gonna say nothing. You see? So I ain't built like that. If wrong is wrong, right is right. That's all I'm saying. All right. Three D say, if you're gonna snap, do the world a favor and go after convicted pedophile shooting spree. Go on a convicted pedophile shooting spree. You can find their addresses near you online. Do it for the kids. or do the white supremacists. If you're gonna go out and do a killing spree, you want to do something for humanity. Go get the white supremacists that's out here committing mass murder and out here, pushing that hate agenda. Go get them. That'll be a noble gesture. That would be a noble act. That's something that you could, would immortalize you. You want something, you want to die for a cause, that would be an admirable cause. Okay, Awesome One say they thought the DC sniper was white and driving a white vehicle, but he was black driving it. Yeah, again, that was a rare situation, very rare situation. We thought that the DC sniper was white. Everybody thought he was white. Black people thought he was white. White people thought he was white. Everybody thought he was white. He turned out to be black. And the only thing changed about my conversation was that, damn, that's surprising. But I still attacked his ass the same way. I attacked him with the same vitriol that I had before we found out what his race was. Because anybody that would indiscriminately just go around and do innocent people like that, especially when we found out what he did it for. He did it to throw the scent off so that he could go kill his wife and go undetected. His ass deserved everything that was coming to him. Anything he got, he deserved. Okay, okay, Matthew says that's definitely a problem, needs fixing. Still, I think Willie D Live is saying that if the shooter was white, not black, they'd still kill her. I think they'd kill her if they had no option but to kill her. If they could take her alive, they would take her alive if she was white. See, law enforcement in America is structured to favor white privilege and white supremacy. So that's why they'll, you know, that's why a white kid could go in and shoot up 17 people and they take them alive. And, you know, at a school, shoot up 17 kids and, you know, and members of the staff, school, what do you call it? School children and staff members, and he gets taken alive. And a black guy could, you know, be pulled over for a minor traffic violation and was and trying to reach to show his ID and get shot in the head. You know, or could be running. Well, I ain't gonna even go there because I ain't trying to support none of that. But, you know, there's many situations, you know, where even the guy like that was in South Carolina was running, Walter, whatever his name is, I can't say his name, Walter Scott was running from the police and got shot in the back, got gunned down. They don't do that to white people, not in America. So let's make sure we're very clear on that. Jamarcus South, appreciate you. Who is that? Laura says, gangsters don't dance, we boogie. Got that right. Let's see. Akeisha Smoot says, your channel is so on point with many of my views. That's what's up. Smoot, I know a Smoot. Who is that? I'm thinking, what? Hold on. I know a Smoot. Let me see. Akeisha Smoot. I know a Smoot. Oh, I'm thinking about Corey. Corey's. Let me see. Oh, actually, I'm thinking about Kevin. Are you familiar with a Kevin Smoot in Houston? Lakeisha? KD says, is this another crazy white boy? No, this is a crazy woman. We don't know what her race is, but it was a crazy woman. See, this is what I'm saying, Chris. Like Chris says, it will always be a race issue in this country when there is always a white person killing multiple people and justice is not served to black citizens who are killed by the police. Yes, yes, yes. That's what I'm saying. I'm agreeing with you there. It's always a race issue in America. But what I'm saying is that as people who are coming to this platform and commenting, and when I bring you these stories, I'm not bringing the story so you could just vent. Venting is cool sometimes, right? Sometimes you just want to say, fuck it and let go, vent. But I bring you the stories so that we can share information and maybe provide some type of insight. Maybe some type of solution. Somebody can throw something out there that might be able to trigger somebody and make somebody change their mind. That's something that could help somebody. If all we're doing is hurling insults at each other, then what are we doing? Like, that makes no sense. I'm a solution-oriented person. So if I tell you something about, if I bring a story about some dude who killed his girlfriend, killed his 2 kids, and then shot himself, I'm not bringing you the story just so you can comment on and say, man, that's messed up. You know, I'm trying to give it to you to let you know that it ain't never that serious. Like, life goes on. Like, and you, how could this man say that he really truly loved his children when he would gun down his own children? How could you shoot the mother of your children, kill the mother of your children? And if you love yourself so much, if you value life your life so much, if the girl wasn't nothing, let's say she cheated on him. If she really wasn't nothing, why would you kill yourself over a woman that ain't nothing? If she really is all of the bitches and the hoes that you called her before you killed her, why would you kill yourself over a bitch or a hoe? Life goes on. When God closes one door, he opens another. So when I bring you the information, I'm looking for y'all to say, man, get a brother out there that might be on the edge, some encouragement. Get that youngster that might be coming here for the first time some information that he could use, because we're not the only ones that are reading these comments. It's people that's on this social media that's looking for real answers. And if y'all can give them some information that can help them, why not? You gotta live with them and you gotta deal with them at some point. Even if you don't deal with these people directly, you're gonna have to deal with their children. You're gonna have to deal with other people they influence. You got teachers out there that's teaching, giving information, false information to kids. So if you can give them some different information so they can look at it a different way, maybe they'll choose your way as opposed to the way that teacher is teaching them. Because a lot of these teachers are projecting their own personal views into the classroom. And they're not really trying to teach art or mathematics or science. A lot of these teachers are teaching hate. They're telling people that they're inferior or that they're superior to other people. You know, they're out there damn near like they're recruiting for hate groups. So I'm trying to go forward, man. I'm trying to grow. I want this to be a channel where people can come to and grow, where people can come to and get some information. Yes, I am Black, but I'm not doing, this channel is not exclusively for Black people. This channel is for the people. I cover a lot of these stories that resonate with Black people, or stories that are about Black people, because the media won't do it. The mainstream media won't do it. And even when they do it, they do it from a skewed point of view. They won't tell the truth, and they dance around the issues, and they won't call out law enforcement. The media have a certain code that they live by. And one of their codes that they live by is that they do not allow themselves to be critical of law enforcement. They won't be critical of law enforcement, and they're never too critical of a sitting president. And even if they are critical of a sitting president, they make sure that they got somebody else to come in with the balance. I ain't trying to balance nothing. The president is either for the people or against the people. And I feel like this one is against the people. So I'm gonna be against him 1,000% of the time. That's why I stand. Who is that? I don't know how to say your name, but I got Judah right. Donna. Sounds like Donna. Let me know if I'm right. Appreciate you, Donna. Let's see. In the land of trigger pullers, Don Tripp. Who was that say they love my music? So Pretty Dark. Appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you, So Pretty Dark. The mediator says 30 people died where? Let's see. Kashmir G, teach. Chosen one, 15. Yeah, somebody says security was slack at YouTube today, but you know, if somebody works at YouTube, they can get a gun in. If you work at a place and you come there every day, you can get a gun inside. So, I mean, we don't know if that person worked there, but you can get a gun into a federal building. You can get a gun into a courtroom if you work there. And it depends on how determined you are. You can force your way through any building with a gun. Let's see. Okay. I don't have to, let's see, where is it? I'm wondering, do I have this, is the screen shared? Okay, I don't have the screen shared. Okay, let's see. Yeah, okay. They say the shooter shot her boyfriend also. Oh, yes. Oh, is that right? I don't know, man. Again, like I say, y'all, this relationship thing, you know, I can understand people tripping when they're teenagers and very, very young, like early 20s. But I think by the time you hit, you know, 23 or so, 20, well, I'll say 25, you should really understand how relationships work. And we need to understand that we don't own each other. When I say that's my girlfriend as long as she wants to be my girlfriend. Long as she keeps saying I'm my boyfriend, then that's my girlfriend. Or until I don't want her to be my girlfriend, right? And if I say that's my wife, that's my wife. But the minute that she don't want to be my wife anymore, that ain't my wife. She can go get her divorce. So, you know, it's like being on a, you know, it's like being a part of it's like having a membership to a gym or something. You know, are you a member? Yes, here's my membership card. Once my membership card expires, I'm no longer a member. And all of those memories that I had of coming to that gym and feeling a certain camaraderie and the familiarity that I had with being there and the comfortability that I had, all of that stuff is over. Now I can either try to renew my membership and get back in, or I can find me a new gym to work out at. Now, that's a shabby kind of analogy, but nevertheless, You get what I'm saying. Nevertheless, you get what I'm saying. You know, we're on loan to each other, man. It's all temporary. Whether we're in a relationship together for 1 month, 10 years, 30 years, or 60, 70 years. Relationships have an expiration date. All of it is temporary. So once you figure that out, now that don't mean you go into the relationship saying, well, since it's gonna be temporary, I ain't gonna give 100%. No, if you ain't gonna give 100% in anything you do, you shouldn't do it. So you go in and you try to give it your best shot, but at some point, that relationship is going to end. You know, whether it be by force or choice, the relationship will end. And once people figure that out, I think they'll be able to deal with relationship losses better. Because, man, people, Americans really don't have any sense of getting closure, like amicable resolution. Real bad with it. Americans need psychiatric help before they go into relationships. Because they really, really bad. Like somebody ain't have a mama or a daddy to teach them these basic things about relationships. So we got to do better, man. Americans are really, really behind, man. Like, I mean, really beastly when it comes to this type of stuff when the relationship is over. Want to kill everything, want to cut up stuff and burn stuff and out people, try to call people out, get on social media and air out their differences. And man, we got to do better, y'all. Thank you, Laura. Let's see, what y'all saying here? Americans can't think for themselves. You got that right. She was super out of line. She cocked the gun back and pointed it right at his head. Oh man, Robert says that our anger is being manufactured through media. Damn. Wow. You got a point, man. You got a point. Damn. Damn, Rob. Yeah. Yep. Okay, so Jaquan says that there were 37 casualties on the police scanner. No, I don't think so. I don't think so. I think she was the only one who died. Y'all let me, if it's different, you know what? Let me see. Let me make sure I'm on point with this. San Bruno, chief of police. Let's see what the chief of police is saying for San Bruno. Let's see.
Are unknown right now. They were all transported for emergency medical care, but they are all unknown. So if I miss that, we have 4 victims who have all been transported for gunshot-related injuries, and we have 1 subject who's deceased inside the building with a self-inflicted wound that at this time we believe to be the shooter, but we're still following up on that. Multiple law enforcement agencies have responded to assist. We're very grateful for everyone's help and assistance. We could not have responded and accomplished this without everybody's help. This is an active event and an active investigation, and numerous law enforcement personnel from numerous different local agencies are still conducting a search of the business just to make sure that that it is clear. We conducted a quick, immediate search of the premises when the first officers arrived as pursuant to our active shooter protocol. And after that search was concluded, now we're going through with a methodical, slow search just to make sure that we cover all the bases. That's all I have for you at this time. We hope to have something a little later. I cannot give you, I cannot give you the time of the next press update, but we'll put that out as soon as we have that information. I'm sorry? No, I cannot confirm that. It's a female. Yes. My understanding is that they've been transported and they're being treated for injuries that are treatable. We're hoping for the best, obviously. Are there more people inside the building? My understanding is the building has been evacuated. There are people in the immediate area. We're obviously trying to contact a large amount of people to try to identify and gain some information from witnesses at the scene. So you can imagine it's a monumental task with the number of employees that work inside the building.
Chief, can you tell us about what weapon or weapons were recovered? Can you tell us about what weapon or weapons were recovered?
I don't have that information. I'm sorry.
Do you have the police from Bruno, the sheriff, who else is?
We have. I haven't taken inventory of all the agencies here. There are numerous agencies. We work well with our neighboring partners, and we're grateful that they're here. But there's a lot of them.
Do you have a jail?
Yeah, I want to clarify that we did locate a victim with what we believe to be a self-inflicted gunshot wound. It's a female, but the investigation is still ongoing before we can put all the pieces together.
Is this person an ex-employee?
I don't have any information regarding that. We are clearing the building and searching the building in a slow, methodical manner like we would do anyway. So we haven't eliminated that possibility, but we have no information to suggest that there's somebody else in there that we're looking for.
Okay, so there it is. So it appears that she was working alone. They have one female as a suspect who is suspected of a self-inflicted wound to the head. And for all of you people who care to know about race, they haven't released that yet. Again, like I said, it wouldn't change my mind what a race is. I'ma still think she a fucking crazy broad, no matter what. You know, of course, it's gonna, depending on what her race is, for everybody else, well, I ain't gonna say everybody else, but for most people, I do believe it's going, depending on what a race is, that'll determine how they respond to this shooting. Let's see. Omega Dreads, some cold-blooded shit, bro. Keep skating. What you talking about skating? But I love you anyway. What do you mean skating? I want to know what you're talking about, because, you know, like different parts of the country and even the world, certain words mean certain things. So before I respond to that, I want to know exactly what you mean by skating. Expendable says, look beyond gun control. If the mass shootings continue and Trump declares a state of emergency for the US, there goes our constitutional rights and in comes martial law. Man, we already there, man. The rights, boy, they did a number on us, man, with that 911. man, people was ready to give everything up for 911. Man, these people doing so much stuff infringing on rights, man. There is no privacy. You know, you really don't have, these rights are just like, it's just a figment of your imagination. Anytime the police can just, you know, your home is supposed to be your castle, right? The police can kick your door in, come in and kill you, and oops, wrong house. Ooh, well, we thought you had a gun. We thought. So somebody try to kick your door in, you don't know who it is. All you know is that you have an intruder. So the natural thing to do would be to, you know, if you don't have a gun, at least get up and try to defend yourself or move around or something. And next thing you know, they kill you. And of course, they get off. You might get a chance to sue the city or the state or whatever. You get some money, but you're dead. So they continue to do it because they're backed by the US government. They got a seal of protection. So it doesn't matter. So what rights do you really, really, really have? You know, it's like when they can just come into your house and kick your door in when they feel like it. The way they did Fred Hampton. You know? Jamarcus South says, this might be a smokescreen. Keep your eyes open for other stuff they're trying to do. True that. A lot of times they say when you're looking over here, the action is really over there. I learned that a long time ago. Let's see. Muhammad says, good dialogue, Willie. I appreciate you, my bro. Appreciate you, man. Hey, I appreciate all y'all, man. I really do, man. Like, y'all hit me up and sending me stories in my inbox, and you know, the comments, the likes, all of that stuff means something, man. It ain't easy being real in a fake ass world, you know, like in this country, being a sucker and a liar and a coon is a commodity. You know, it's like these people are allowed to thrive. You know, even the dudes with the money, flashing the money. When I was growing up, you could have a lot of money, but if you was not looking out for other people, you wasn't putting other people on, people didn't respect you. Today, dudes get respect simply because they have money. Their whole team is struggling. They don't have, even their assistant is crumbing. They don't even have an assistant that's getting real money. Everybody around them is starving. And people will like just praise them and just want to be around them and just salute them. Like when I was coming up, you couldn't have money and not be able to protect your own money. You could have money and have goons who would put in work for you, but if you couldn't put in the work yourself, they would take your money. That's how it worked. Now these dudes straight up suckers, like clowns, funny bunnies, walking around here with money, just flashing money. And, you know, some of these dudes who call themselves goons will protect them just to get a check. Get around them and not just protect them, but just respect them just to get a check. So in this type of environment, like you have the internet, you have me on YouTube and Facebook and I do Instagram, and this ain't something that I would normally do because it's too many cowards on the internet. They hide behind avatars and usernames, fake usernames, and some of them are brave enough to show their faces, but they won't get out. They won't show their face in public, not announce. They won't announce where they are. That shows you how much of a coward they are. They're not going to announce where they are. And some of them that reach a certain level of prominence who could probably move around and get money doing speaking engagements and doing appearances, they won't do it because they know what'll happen to their asses if they show up and somebody know where they are. Those are the cowards. And they love to jump on, especially once they get an audience. They love to run their mouths. They love to talk tough. And see, these type of dudes, they're the equivalent of telephone gangsters. Back then we had you got internet gangsters now. Back then we had the telephone gangsters. That's the dude that get on the phone and be, yeah, nigga, I'll beat your ass. Nigga, what, fool, what? Yeah, nigga, boo. He do all that woofing on the phone, right? It's the same thing with the internet. They took it from the telephone to the internet. I never, ever once got on the phone and did that, all that barking on the phone. Because I know I'm just going, whatever I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna do it. But getting on this internet and speaking truth, speaking power to truth, it ain't popular for a lot of people because a lot of these cats, man, they straight up cowards. They ain't built like me. They don't stand for something. They don't have any principles. They don't have any strong convictions. For them, it's all about popularity or trying to make a buck. That's it. So, and it tripped me out because I realized for them to have an audience, how messed up other people gotta be. So it's so many other people out there that are really, truly messed up in the head. Some of these cats got, a few 100,000 followers. And I'm saying, what kind of people would follow somebody like that? It just lets me know how bad it is. Okay, so I'm gonna answer this. Normally I wouldn't answer, but I'm gonna address this, somebody, this is what I mean by a sucker, right? She joke or Nuha says, what you stand for, Willie D? You making $1.2 with your patron, right? Okay, sucker. Hold on. I'm gonna go ahead on and answer you. I need to make sure I keep your name right there because your ass getting blocked when I get through answering you. Okay. So here it is, sucker. First and foremost, if I say something, anything I say, I can back up. That's first and foremost. I stand for loyalty. I stand for righteousness. I stand for my homies who are on the right, who are doing the right thing, who trying to do the right thing. I ain't talking about no fool out there just jumping around acting a fool. I'm saying if you're right, I'm with you if you're right. I stand for my children. I stand for my sisters and brothers. I stand for my family. I stand for the people that count on me, my employees. You know, and as far as making bread, what am I supposed to, I'm supposed to be ashamed of getting paid? Sucker, you sound like a fool. See, that's another problem too. Like a lot of cats, they ain't got no problem with like white people or anybody else getting paid. But when they see a black dude, a black man getting paid for doing what he do, putting in work that he put in, it's a problem with them. You know why? Because in their mind, you're not supposed to have nothing. You know, you're not good enough to live a good life, to have something. You're not good enough in their mind. They want you to be Gandhi or some damn body, but what they don't understand is that Gandhi lived a very comfortable life. You see what I'm saying? And that's the same person that's got a problem with a pastor living good, right? See, I don't have a problem with ministers living good, having a good life. I think if you're in the business of saving souls, that's one of the most admirable things that you can do. But only if you really about that life. If you're serious and you're really out there helping the people and you giving back to the community and you got certain programs that you've implemented to help the people, you should live a comfortable life. If you're an activist and you out there putting your life on the line and you saying things that cowards like this Unuko, whatever his damn name is scared to say this cheap joke, notice he got the word joke in his name, or her name. If you're speaking out and speaking on things that the cowards wouldn't speak on, if you bucking the system and you standing for something, you deserve to be compensated. A lot more than a sucker that's on YouTube out here acting a damn fool, telling jokes or lying and buck dancing and saying whatever it is that he got to say, whatever it is that he got to say to just make some bread, just to get over. Go against the truth just to get paid. Kind of like what Fox News do. So when you ask me what I stand for, sucker, that's what I stand for. I stand for righteousness, sucker. I stand for something that your clown ass would never stand for. I'm a man, I stand on two. I say the shit that your coward ass will never say because you're afraid, because you don't stand on two. You stand for the man. You're gonna do whatever the man tell you. You allow other people to pick your friends. You will let your oppressor tell you who you can be friends with and who you can't be friends with. I'm a Dennis Rodman the system. If I think Kim Jong-un is a cool dude and I want to be friends with him, I'm gonna get my ass on the plane and go be friends with him and kick it with him. I'm not gonna allow another man to tell me who I can be friends with and who I can't be friends with. But your sucker ass will. So that's what I stand for, sucker. And I stand on suckers' heads like yours. I put my foot on your neck and I keep it there. Now get your ragged ass off my page. Make sure I get rid of this sucker once and for all. Y'all hold up. Give me a minute, man. See, these are the types I'm talking about, y'all. Like, for them, they don't stand for nothing. They straight up cowards, suckers. If you tell them something about something right, they're gonna think you wrong. just because they like the whole concept of being a sucker. Then this punk got the nerve enough to have 2 kids on his profile. I feel sorry for your babies if those are your babies, you clown. Know what the hell they gonna learn. Get your ass off my page, sucker. Yeah. Yeah, if I didn't stand for something, sucker, they wouldn't be blocking me. YouTube wouldn't be taking down my damn videos. Facebook wouldn't be blocking my videos. I would, if I didn't stand for something, I wouldn't even need a damn Patreon, because YouTube would run the ads on YouTube. They allow me to run the ads unconditionally on YouTube. Most of my ads actually get blocked on YouTube. They don't even hardly run ads on my videos. Say, who is this? King Israel say, Willie, where did you do time? No disrespect. Man, that's not important, man. I don't care about those type of conversations, man. Let's see, Jason C says, Willie D for president. Homie, don't play that Nelson Johnson. Yeah, his mind was playing tricks on him. And that's another thing, man. Like all these suckers that be on YouTube and Instagram and Facebook and Twitter talking that shit, they say shit that they would never say to my face, because they know I slapped everything. I slapped their whole fucking face off their face. They know that. That's what cowards do. Like I was always told, never say anything about a man that you wouldn't say to his face. And it's nothing that I've ever fixed my mouth to say to anybody about anybody that I wouldn't say to their face. And I don't go around just trying to be disrespectful for the sake of being disrespectful. But you got a lot of these suckers out there in the internet world that do. They just disrespectful for no reason. They come on people's pages and just to cause dissent. Just go on and just talk crazy, just get reckless. Say shit that they would never say to your face. That lets you know what a coward is. That gives you the true definition of a coward. Don Diva say, hey, king, hey, queen, what up? Let's see. Yeah, these dudes, man, yeah, I saw something like that, man. Some of these dudes, man, that's their whole hustle. Some of these dudes in this YouTube space, their whole hustle is trying to go in on other people that's on YouTube. That's their whole hustle. That's the extent of their hustle. Like, go in, hear you say something, and then go in and just say something opposite of what you're saying. That's their whole hustle. Coward ass clown niggas. But they can't move around and get no money though. They can't move around. They ain't gonna be able to move around and ever get no money. And they know this, man. see. My man say, Willie D, who is this? Mr. Bishop say, Willie D, don't let these bitches get you out of character. Actually, man, I'm actually in character. You dig what I'm saying? Like, I can go from being laid back, cool, smooth, I can go back, I can go from that to 10, all of that is part of my character, so I can get down if you need me to get down, I can get down, at the end of the day, I stand for righteousness. So anybody that's going against me ain't gonna win. It ain't, put it like this, it ain't gonna turn out like they think it's gonna turn out. Yeah, and that's the thing too, like I like the ideas. What I like about social media is that social media is giving people an opportunity to voice their opinions and to have a certain type of camaraderie with people that they would have never met. Some people are very shy, withdrawn, and they meet people and they conversate with people on social media that they probably would have never, ever, ever met. There's more people have more social media followers and friends on social media than they have in real life. And it allows a lot of people to be heard. A lot of people don't even care, probably have never cared about their opinion. All of a sudden people care what they think. So it has been good in that sense that it has given certain people a voice that probably would never had a voice. I like the idea of that. I had a voice well before social media, so I'm not talking about myself, but I'm talking about the people who, like I say, some people are recluses, and they just don't get out a lot. And so social media has been sort of like a refuge for them. And to me, that's a good thing. But in the midst of that, in the process of it becoming that for people who are basically, for the most part, loners, it has created these alter egos, the other side, where you have these cowards, a bunch of cowards bumping, running around here like they got an S on their chest. So, and it's a whole lot of cowards. It ain't, I don't know if it's a lot of these rappers is what helped them facilitate this or whatever, but because a lot of the rappers be bumping off at the mouth and getting on social media, just acting really, really reckless. Talking reckless, acting reckless. And they say things to people on social media that I know they would never say face to face. So that's one of the things that, you got to deal with. That's why I don't get into that type of stuff with the artists, because if they get at me, I'm coming. I'm the last person that you need to get into with, and I know where you at, because I'm gonna come now. I ain't say, I say, man, put it like this, like you gonna smell my cologne. You dig what I'm saying? So I ain't playing at all. I don't mess with nobody. I love people. I love the people. And I don't mess with nobody. That's why when somebody get out of line with me, they may not get it right away, but they're gonna get it. It's automatic, because respect is demanded. I give respect automatically. And if I don't get it, I'm gonna get it. And somebody gonna get it. You dig what I'm saying? Like, that's just what it is. But I know how it is with this social media. A lot of cowards jump on it and they think they bulletproof and they think can't nothing happen to them. And you have people that say, oh man, you ought to just let that go. No, you can't. You know how sometimes, when you were growing up, people would say, well, that boy need a good ass whooping. That is very true. Some people really, really do need a good ass whooping. And the person that give them a good ass whooping, oftentimes is doing a favor for humanity. They're doing a favor to the world. Some of these dudes just need a real, real good ass whooping. Some of these dudes missed the ass whoopings growing up from their parents and stuff because, they stopped the whole, corporal punishment thing. So some of these dudes don't know what it's like to have to face repercussions for their actions, to have to face physical repercussions or physical confrontation for their actions. They ain't never been into no real confrontation except with girls. They Tyson when they dealing with a girl. But I'm talking about a man with a man. Some of these dudes ain't never had to deal with no man. So it makes them feel really, really brave. And social media is one of those things. Like, it's like almost like when you get on social media, it's like they putting on a bulletproof jacket, and they got clips and 1,000 rounds of ammunition and everything. They just ready. So I'm highly in favor of them type of dudes getting what's due to them. I'm highly in favor of that. Maybe it'll curb some of this stuff. Andrew Nawatoski. What up, Andrew? Hey, man, I just joined your Patreon. Keep up the good work on airing these cowards out. You're a good dude with a good heart. God bless those babies. Dig what I'm saying? Thank you, man. Appreciate you. Appreciate you, Andrew. Yeah, man. Look, man, this, a trip part about it is that people be thinking like this YouTube is really like, some of these cowards out here that don't know nothing about me be thinking like YouTube pay my bills or Patreon pay my bills. Look, man, I buy and sell houses for your information. I buy and sell cars for your information. I have money invested in stocks for your information. And I'm always looking for a new entrepreneur venture to put my hands on. I'm a businessman first and foremost. The trip part about it is that, for me, if I find value in something, I ain't got no problem supporting it with my bread. That's just how I am. Now, I know some people don't think like that, but that's the way I am. But it's a trip how many people are always trying to count somebody else's chips. I was on social media, I was on Instagram earlier, and somebody posted something about Kendrick Lamar buying a new mansion. And so you had people commenting saying stuff like 6 rooms. Oh, that looked like a regular house. They showed a picture of the house. I guess that was the house. They said that looked like a regular house. And somebody else said, that don't look like a mansion. And then somebody else said, well, I guess he got tired of being humble and went and bought him this and that. And he got money. Why he didn't buy something bigger? Like, how in the hell people think like that? Like, how you fix your mind to care on such a petty level? For me, when I heard about it, it's like, the first thing that come to my mind is good for him because he's a good dude. Now, if he wasn't a good dude, I wouldn't give a damn. I'd be like, man, I hope the house catch a fire and his ass is inside of it. But Kendrick is a good dude. So any type of blessings that he get, I'm in support of. So Kendrick Lamar bought a new mansion. Bam. First thing come to my mind, good for Kendrick. how do things like trying to counter dude money and saying, well, you know, what about this? How does all of the negative shit is the first thing somebody say? I read the comments and over half of the comments were people making negative comments. So it gives you some insight on why certain people are so far behind and why certain people can't get what they want out of life. Because when you negative, being negative takes up a lot of energy. You're sitting around being mad at what somebody else got. Being mad about why you ain't got this and you ain't got that and why he got it and you ain't got it. Sitting around just watching TV and finding negative things to say about people all day. Getting on social media and just being negative all day. It's gotta take a lot out of you. I don't know how you can concentrate on doing anything positive when you're so damn negative. It don't add up. But you got some people out there that's all they do. That's all they do. I'm like, if I see a dude getting it, and first thing I'm gonna be like, man, shit, well, what is he doing to get it? And how can I do what he doing to get it? Legally, of course. How can I get down? That ain't my first instinct is not to say he got it. Oh, he probably did this. He probably stole. He probably robbed. He probably. No, I'm thinking, how can I get some of that money? What did he do? Instead of trying to make him an enemy, I'm gonna be trying to see like how we can network. You know, if I care that much. But some people ain't built like that. Let me see what y'all saying. Donna Judah, I love you too. Your fine ass face. All right, thank you, Donna. I love you too. Let's see. Okay, so who is this? Ilya. But these names be tripping me out. I'm just gonna say George. Willie, don't let him take you out of your cool. Again, George, hey man, you know, it's cool. You know, sometimes you just gotta let a sucker know, man, it's cool. I'm good. At the end of the day, no matter what happened, it ain't gonna turn out like they think it's gonna turn out. That's the key. When you have enemies, just make sure that if you do get out of your cool, just make sure that it don't turn out like they want it to turn out. Whatever you do. All right. Try one says, I'm not a gentleman. Let's see, you want to be a millionaire, surround yourself with millionaires, 3D to destroy you. Christopher Ingram, dropping good game. K. Diggs said they're not happy with their own life. Detective Pokemon Z says your lectures are great. Appreciate you. Appreciate you, Detective. Lady Stillwater, Willie D, negative people cannot be blessed. You did? Laura says, okay, Willie, I'm offended. You didn't say you love me. I told you I ain't no big fat white woman. Where my love at? Hey, big fat white women need love too, but what's up, Laura? I love you. How about it? Is that good enough? Okay, much love, Laura. The shooter is dead, man. K. Diggs, you late. The shooter is dead. Angie D. Hill, they probably can't rub two nickels together. Talking junk, damn shame, all the hate. Real talk. Tay Savage, get the truth out here, man. Big C now says, best lesson learned in school for me was teachers saying, keep my eyes on my own paper. Huh. I like that. Let's see. Detective Pokemon Z said, can you be my principal? Shannon Kennedy says, love your show, bruh. Dallas, Texas. What's up, D-Town? All right, y'all. So any final thoughts on the shooter in California at the YouTube headquarters? Final thoughts on the YouTube shooter. Prime Cody, what up? Thank you. Andrew says, best way to do fuck work for the man, work for me. Work for himself, self-employment, huh? Yeah, see, that's another thing too, man. Like most people, man, like I just realized like most people are just fake. Like most people in the world are fake. The world is really fake. Cause like, think about it. If you go to work, the average person, like if you go to work and somebody say, hey man, good morning. And the average person will just say good morning back, even though they probably had a horrible morning, even though, they probably had somebody cut them off in traffic. They had a little road rage. They got to work late, probably, had to get out in the rain, all kind of little old things that was going on. And they probably was like, yeah, good morning. And I know the reason why people do it is just because it's just a natural reaction. Somebody tell you got that's a nice shirt. You immediately look for something on their body to say that it's nice. Oh, nice shoes, that kind of thing. So a lot of times, people don't want to say what they really feel because they feel like it'll offend somebody, even with our friends. Oftentimes, our friends can be like dead to the wrong, right? And we know they're wrong, right? But we won't tell them they're wrong because we don't want to hurt their feelings and we know it's going to upset them. They're going to be offended. So we just let them like, you know what, man, I ain't going to even say nothing. But is that truly a friend? You dig? I can see not saying nothing maybe the first time around or maybe not saying anything letting them cool off a little bit or whatever, then come back and saying something. But to know that your friend is on the wrong track and doing something that's a detriment to them, and you knowing that they're wrong and you not saying anything about it, you'd have to question, in my eyes, you have to question your friendship. Are you really a friend? And that's how people is, like, in this world, that's like people get mad at people who tell the truth, and they embrace people who lie. You know, like it don't add up. Like you can go to somebody's channel, man, and everybody know what the truth is, but because the truth offends you, you get pissed off. Me, it don't matter who the truth is coming from. If I hear the truth, I hear the truth, right? I'll accept the truth if I hear the truth. Because I'm trying to grow and I'm trying to learn, and I don't want to be a fool. But some people, because they don't like the truth, they don't want to hear that truth, they immediately go in and they get offended. They get very, very emotional and very upset with you for telling the truth. It's kind of like, sometimes I see women on social media and they'll say something, and it might be something where they're trying to correct a man's behavior, and they're being very critical, right? And I hear it or I read it and I go like, well, she ain't lying, so I'm gonna like it or whatever. I'm like, I like it. It could be a random post. It may be a person I don't even know, but I'll come across the post and I'll like it. Sometimes I'll read the comments, and invariably you'll hear, you'll read somebody saying something like, well, women do it too, and we're not talking about women right now. The subject is what men are doing, or what a particular guy or type of guy is doing, and the way that person is behaving. And this person is giving her thoughts on how that person is behaving, and maybe even giving her thoughts on how that person needs to correct his behavior. That, if that is the truth, it ain't nothing really to add to the truth. It ain't nothing else to it but the truth. Why not just accept it and keep it moving? You got some dude got to come back and say, well, women do it too, or what about that? It's like they totally missing the point. Like, man, you didn't learn, you didn't use that for a learning moment. You didn't just didn't want to learn, huh? You're just going to ignore it because it's coming from a woman. So that's why a lot of times when I do have a critique about a woman, I won't even say it, because a lot of times women get offended when men try to critique their behavior, because they feel like a man has an underlying agenda. He has a hidden agenda. So that's why I think it's very, very important for women to correct women and men to correct men. Because if I tell a man something, then a man won't be as suspicious about me telling him about how he should do this or do that or do that, if he want to have a good relationship with his woman, or he want to fix something, or he needs to move on. He won't feel as threatened, but a woman would. You dig what I'm saying? So that's why that's why it takes women to raise women and men to raise men. Some people don't like that, especially people who have to raise these, a person that's the opposite sex who's raising girls, or a person who's the opposite sex that's raising boys. They don't want to hear that. Well, I raised mine and I understand, and that kudos, hey man, salute. Probably 70, 80% of the guys that was in my neighborhood was raised by a single mother, just like I was. But I can tell you without a doubt, My mama did the best she knew how to do, or she thought she could do. But I can tell you with absolute no doubt, if I would have had my daddy in the house, whatever I am, I think I would have been a whole lot better. Whatever I am. Because it's certain things I wouldn't even done. That was not a good look for me. If my daddy would have been in the house, I know I wouldn't have done it, especially if I had a daddy in the house who was doing what he was supposed to be doing, handling his financial duties and his protective duties as a man. I wouldn't have had to step up and felt like I had to go out there and fill his shoes and get that money so early. Go out into the street and fight grown men and all that kind of stuff, you know? So it's just a little story, man. You know, I know I'm kind of like veering off, man, but once I get started, man, it's like, you know, I just be trying to give it to y'all, man, and just be honest as I can. You know, like I don't have to be on YouTube. I don't have to be on Facebook. I don't have to be on Instagram. You know, I've been off of these platforms for months at a time and still been able to go out and, you know, buy whatever I wanted to buy and ain't missed one, you know, stroke with, you know, doing whatever I needed to do for my kids or whatever. So, I mean, I really do what I do for the people. But some people really ain't about the people, so they don't give a damn. They just like, they see that as a threat. They see what I do as a threat. It's like, man, what do you mean? You trying to wake people up? Man, fuck all that, man. Ain't nobody trying to wake up. Man, what are you talking about? Unity, man. Ain't no unity, man. We ain't gonna never have no unity. We ain't trying to have no unity, man. And I don't want to hear nothing about no unity. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? He talking about unity. That would be a good thing, but that's gonna knock my hustle. You know what I'm saying? My thing is division. So if my thing is division, I gotta stick to division, even when it don't really make sense to be divided about this topic, but I gotta make sure I keep some division going on at all times because that's what's putting money in my pocket. Shout out to Prime Cody. What up? Mike Burnham says, can I do a video on stocks and bonds? Man, the majority of people really ain't trying to hear that, dog. But you know what? If I can do the video in a way that it can keep moving, I'll do it. Mostly people that want to hear stuff about stocks and bonds, they go to YouTube channels where that's all they talk about. And you know, talking about stocks and bonds, I do believe that would rock the majority of my constituency to sleep. But if I can figure out a way to do it in a way that that I can keep it moving and keep it interesting, I'll do it. But that is something that I do know a lot about. And I think that y'all could benefit from it. So actually, Mike, you know, to be honest, I have been thinking about doing some type of video about that. I just got to figure out a way to do it and keep it moving. So very, very, very good question. Let's see. PJ514 says, Brooklyn respect. What up? Appreciate you, homie. True One, so interested in drinking beer and playing dominoes. I'm sitting in my room with my eyes closed. Let's see. Keep Skating says, oh, okay. Keep Skating is a username. Okay. True One. I think you mean drinking beer and eating dominoes. Huh. Let's see. H-Man says Kendrick Lamar is smart. Yes, he is. And he really is a humble dude. Like, that wasn't just a song. You know, the dude is really humble, I met him when he had just taken off. And, he was really, really he was really humble. He didn't have that big head at all. And from everything that I know about the dude and other people that's around him, that is the consensus. Queen, natural queen, Willie D, respect. Respect, queen. Rastafari F says, misery loves company and they find company online. Don't they? Unchain Your Brain says, how do you fix your mind to care? Truth. Well, how do you fix your mind not to care? See, because when you when you get to a point where you don't care, it's basically over. And normally when you don't care, the first person that you start to hurt is yourself. You self-medicate, you start drinking reckless, using drugs reckless, you get into conflict, you're reckless about conflict. And next thing you know, you're shooting, killing somebody, or somebody's killing you, or you're in jail for assault or whatever. And then, you find yourself spending a lot of money on lawyers and, just all kind of stuff. So the thing is that when you don't care, you just make life harder. That's all you do is you make life harder for yourself, because there are people out there, man, that's on the ropes. They don't know which way to go. A lot of these people are on the fence. And it just depends on that one person that might tell them the right thing or tell them the wrong thing, and that's the way they're gonna go. The thing is that if you plan on living in this society, wouldn't you rather live in a society where people actually cared about each other as opposed to didn't care about each other? Because not caring about each other is a very dangerous society. This is how you get people that come into the neighborhood, strangers, who are able to come into the neighborhood undetected and snatch up children, snatch up, snatch up grown folks also, and just take them, and nobody ever sees them again, because everybody is focused on their own thing and nobody's looking out for each other. People not even looking out for their next door neighbors. So if somebody violates your next door neighbor, guess who next? So that's how it kind of go, so you got to kind of look out for each other. If you get to a point to where you just don't care, then you just don't care. Then that's what it is. You don't care, you don't care, But I've been at that point where I didn't care, but I always snap back, because I got some things that I want to do and I got some differences that I want to make. And I don't think you can do that without caring. I think you gotta, even if you get to a point to where you want action, you don't care because you have, you want to take a certain action. Even those actions have to be backed with calculations. There's certain things that go into actions. You got to have a plan. And so you have to be methodical. And I think you got to care to be methodical. You got to have something, otherwise, you just don't care. Then you take the gun and then you go up in the school like dude did, the 17-year-old did, and just, air out everybody. Unless you're willing to do that, then I think you care. Pocket watching. What's up, Big C now? John from East Birmingham says, too much time on their hands. Adventures of Truck Drivers, Diva. Actually, that's Deva. Let's see. Okay, so this is actually has been my longest broadcast ever. I didn't mean it for it to go this long, but you know, I meant to just really just kind of like have a quick chat with y'all, but you know, it kind of got a little heated when we got some, you know, we had a couple of haters that came in. You know, I wish I could not only get rid of the haters, but I wish I could get, like on YouTube, you can't, it's hard to get rid of, let me see, is it YouTube? Which platform is it that, let me see. Yeah, I think it's YouTube. If somebody like your comment, you can't tell who it was. Like, I like the idea of being able to not only block the person who says something disrespectful, but also block the person who liked their comment. Like, I want to get rid of all of their asses. I'm gonna get rid of all of that negative energy. Now, I can do that on Instagram because that's what I'll do. If somebody says something stupid, too stupid on Instagram, but they say stupid stuff all the time. But if they go too far with it, not only do I block them, but I block anybody who liked their comments. And I do the same thing on Facebook. And it's not that I'm trying to control, it's not that I'm trying to control a person's opinion. Yeah, you can have whatever opinion that you want to have, but just don't come on my channel being disrespectful to me. You know, don't come to my channel being disrespectful, and, you know, don't come on there saying some old, you know, just anything. I'm gonna tell you, basically, the way to get banned off my channel is the quickest way to get banned is to say something disrespectful to me, or be general with your disrespect towards women or men. If you just if you generalize, you know, I'm gonna block you because I can't have that shit, you know, like that's too much negative energy, man. Okay, what's your thoughts about the Roxanne film on Netflix? Is it already planned? If it is, I gotta watch it tonight. It didn't really focus on hip hop. It seemed like a Colored Girls Part 2. Okay, so it is planned. No, okay, so I gotta check that out. I mean, Roxanne a legend, you know. I remember rocking out to Roxanne when I was in the county jail. First time I ever went to jail, to the county. 17 years old. Roxanne. Yeah, I would check that out. I would want to check that out. Okay, Son Amos, good advice, OG. Appreciate you. Okay, y'all. I think that's it. I appreciate y'all for joining the broadcast. And if there's any new developments on this case, I'll be sure to bring it to you as soon as I get it. All right. So again, thank you. Salute. Y'all have a good one. No more talk.